Great. Now we're in Capture One. We're ready to do our processing. I'm working in Capture One here. Depending on what you get from your photographer or agency, you could be working in either Capture One or Adobe Camera Raw. It's important if you're going to get into retouching to be familiar in both those environments because they're different software programs. And you're going to need to know how to get around in each one and get the right results from each one. Working in a raw module or piece of software like this, it's called different things, is the ultimate place to be doing things where you're bringing back quality and really doing quality assurance on the image, because lots of times a photographer is going to do a process that might achieve a cool look, but might be destroying parts of the image by blowing out light parts or maybe plugging up dark parts. So you don't have to be an absolute master of these programs. I'm certainly not, but I know how to get around. I know how to get the results that I need. What I like to do is to balance the image out so I have really good quality. Nothing is pushed in a direction that I can't later bring it back from in Photoshop. So I'll show you just a couple steps I'm doing in Capture One here, and then we're going to go out to Photoshop pretty quickly. So usually when I'm balancing the image, I'm mostly going to be working in this high dynamic range. Honestly, that gets done 90% of what I need to do, which is just recovery. Just messing with these values and looking for anywhere in the image. In this one, it's not the best example to show that stuff, but it's still important to always check, because we don't have anything that's like really harshly lit in this, or it's already nicely balanced. So the other thing I'm going to do is take a look down in the clarity section, because that can also introduce some sort of crunching of high frequency information that you don't want. So see how it starts to get a little bit hot, a little bit crispy when I pull that up? I just want to bring that down to a place where I feel like the fidelity is just even across the different ranges of tone. And the structure too can add a bit of that unwanted snap or crispness to it, and I want to bring that down too, because that's really something that I can see in this image that I can bring back later if I want to like exploit that feature. I'm not going to touch anything else in Capture One for this image. It's fine. I'm ready to go to work on it in Photoshop. So what I'm going to do is export a variant, and it's going to drop down this little export module here. I'm just going to put it on my desktop, set as export folder, so it'll keep that if I need to do more, which I'm going to. Format image name. You can leave all this stuff as is. When we get to the format, it might come up as a JPEG. You want to make sure that you're outputting as a TIFF, because this TIFF is going to be the best, the highest quality format to output. I am going to leave this at 8-bit. There's a big discussion about 8 versus 16. I use 16 very sparingly and for very specific things, because in the whole chain of imaging right now, I still believe everything comes back to 8 in the end. We'll leave that big discussion for later, but this is what I do, and this is what you should do for an image like this. You will not lose anything. Color space, though, it's important. You have the option to do sRGB or Adobe RGB. I'm going to go with the wider gamut Adobe RGB, just because we're going to have, it's a slightly larger possibility for bright colors, and sRGB is a little bit more compressed. So let's just go with Adobe RGB. That's the color space I normally work in these days. Everything else you can leave as is, but I'm going to have it open in Photoshop after it exports, just to make it quick and easy. So here we go. Let's export to Photoshop.